Hello, Sherry here with Fit to Be Live. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Today I want to talk to you about sourdough starter. So I pulled my starter out of the fridge this morning, had a look at it, and thought I need to do a video on this. If you're new to sourdough starter, sometimes it's a little bit intimidating. If you store it in the fridge for a period of time and you take it out, how do you know it's still safe to eat? While I don't have an absolute scientific answer for you, I do want to share the experience that I have had using sourdough starter. So I created my first sourdough starter from scratch. We named him Fred. It's alive. And the rest is history. Even though I'm not baking bread every day or even every week, having Fred in the fridge is invaluable. As long as I have eggs, I can always whip up some homemade pancakes. If I don't have a pizza crust or I don't have time to prepare one, I can use my sourdough starter to make an easy pizza crust. I've made English muffins, sourdough cinnamon rolls, dinner rolls and lunch buns. But mostly I use my starter to make bread. Good old-fashioned sourdough bread. Fred has not been used in over a month. I've had my starter sitting in the fridge in a Corningware container with a loose-fitting lid for that long and paid no attention to it whatsoever. The first thing you'll notice when you pull a sourdough starter out of the fridge after it's been there for some time is the liquid that collects on the top. This is called hooch and is not harmful in any way, shape, or form. Some people pour it off. I choose to mix it in because it's part of my starter and I don't need to take that away. As you can see, once you start mixing it, it really looks very fine. I would say the key is if you don't have visible mold on top of your sourdough starter, it is safe. Now, of course, this is my opinion, but in my experience, I have never had an issue with my sourdough starter. I've never thrown any of it away and restarted it.
So now it's nice and smooth, but not bubbly at all. And there's nothing wrong with this. When it comes to flour, I have a little bit of unbleached all-purpose flour left, and I have a little bit of whole wheat flour left. I'm not gonna overthink this because I don't have to. Food is food. And your sourdough starter is not like a 2-year-old. It's not finicky. So I'm just gonna take probably about half and half. So yeah, I'd say that much of my all-purpose. And then I've just topped it up with some whole wheat flour. So I'm gonna gently just kind of start to stir that in. And then I'm gonna add about the same amount of tepid water. And I do tepid because this is a live organism, and the warmer the water, the quicker it rises. So I do about a cup of water. You don't want it to be hot water because you don't want to kill the organisms that are in it. So just a nice warm, and then we're gonna mix that in for them. And as I'm doing this, there are already bubbles forming. There are live cultures in here that are hungry. They've been in the fridge and they've been dormant, and now they're waking up because the temperature is starting to increase and they're hungry. It's like a bear coming out of hibernation. So they are going to eat, and you will be absolutely shocked, or I am every time I take it out, at how quickly they wake up and this becomes this very, very bubbly, beautiful starter once again. Then you can take a towel and cover it, or a lid that doesn't fit airtight, and this does not. There are gaps around the edges, so I'm just gonna put that lid on, and now I'm just gonna leave it for 8 hours. Look at all those bubbles, and look at how much more volume it has.
This is after just 4 hours of feeding Fred. If you listen carefully, you can actually hear the bubbles breaking. Now, if I was just looking for an active culture to make bread and have it rise, I could actually use my starter at this point. The difference is that because it hasn't been 8 hours yet, it hasn't really had a chance for the grains to ferment. So the benefits of eating sourdough bread are that you're getting some fermented food. But there's nothing wrong with using it ahead of time. If I wanted to make pancakes right now in a pinch, 4 hours is plenty. It's bubbly, it's active. I could very well use this and have delicious, good for you food. It just wouldn't be fermented. So as you can see, even after an extensive storage, getting restarted with your sourdough is not an issue at all. I have left these in the fridge for longer than a month and just done exactly what I showed you here today, and they're fine. This is a healthy starter. This is fermented, really good for you, really easy, and a great thing to have on hand. Look at how foamy. This is incredible. Look at how big the air holes are. There's so much life in this starter, like it is ready to go. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna separate this tiny amount out. And this is what I'm gonna keep going forward. So all of this now is for me to use. This, I'm gonna feed it. I'm gonna let it sit for about 4 hours to start digesting this, fermenting this. And then I'm gonna put this in the fridge in a covered container. And that's it. Oh, the nice thing about separating a small amount is literally you can take a tablespoon, you can take the smallest amount and just give it a little bit of flour, a little bit of water. It doesn't take very much at this point. So I'm not even measuring, as you can see. I've just put, I don't know how much, maybe a 1/4 cup of flour. I'm gonna put maybe a 1/4 cup of water. You just kind of estimate the consistency that you want, and even if it's runny, that's okay, and if it's thick, that's okay too, as long as that starter culture has something to eat before it gets put away. It'll be fed and it will be a healthy, active starter. So that's it. This is what I'm keeping in the fridge, and easy peasy. If you have any questions or comments on this video, please feel free to list them in the comments section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you've enjoyed this video or learned something new, please feel free to drop a like, and if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please click on that subscribe button, activate the notifications, and look out for my next video. Thank you.